Hey everybody, welcome to Nine Liner Tattoo. This one's going to be different. I'm starting a new thing by, hopefully this helps me, and other people might do the same. I don't know, it's just something I feel like I want to do for whatever reason, but mainly to try and help work through any issues that I have. Sounds a bit dramatic, but you'll understand what I'm saying in a second. So basically, let's close that laptop down. Basically, I'm starting a new I don't know what to call it, a segment. It sounds like a fucking game show. I'm starting a thing where I am basically, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to call it. Maybe I'll call it Regretful Memories. Let's do that. Regretful Memories. Now, to be clear, these are not necessarily things that I've done that I regret. They could be, and they probably fucking will be. There's at least 3 or 4 things I've done in my life that I very much regret, but there can also be things that I've been involved in that I regret, things that have happened to me that I regret, or situations that I've been involved with that have just went shit. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm doing. So this first one, what I'm going to do most of the time, unless it's detrimental to me and not to other people, because this is not about insulting people or slagging people off. It's just trying to work through things. And I'm learning, because of what happened with Sarah, I'm learning for the first time since ever, and I'm 45 years old, for the first time I believe the sentence that a problem shared is a problem halved. I never used to believe that. I used to think that keep it to yourself, bottle it down, and then that's when I had almost a nervous breakdown. I had a huge depression session, lasted months, and I'm trying not to let that happen again. And this might not stop it, but it's something I'm trying, you know. So basically, this one, first one I'm kicking off with, is a story from my past with someone who was like a brother to me. And again, I want to make this clear. This is not about blaming people. It's just about things that I regret the way they went. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to try and connect that to there. Let's do that. How's that? That's not bad. That's not bad. So, this one is about me and someone who I loved. I loved this man dearly. We were like brothers. We were close. And we haven't spoken now for somewhere in the region of, I want to say 15 years, 14 years, and it sucks. Anyway, I spoke to my wife about doing these, and she's like, you have to be careful what you say, and blah. And then at one point I went quiet, and she went, you know what? Just say whatever the fuck you want. You've not got any malice in your heart, so just say it. And that's what I'm just going to do. I've decided to not use people's names because that makes it easier to figure out who it is. And that's not what it's about. Again, it's not a blame game, this one. So basically, I knew a person, a guy, and I knew him for about 4 or 5 years, and we became so fucking close it was unbelievable. He helped me with many, many things in my private life, in my personal life, just everything. And we were really close. And he met a girl. The girl was dating someone else, and put it this way, there was a crossover between him starting to date her and her dating her ex-boyfriend, you know, so there was a little crossover. Now, I don't know if anything sexual happened, but and the reason I'm bringing this up, it's important to the story. I don't know if anything sexual happened, but there was definitely a crossover anyway. So we spoke to each other like shit, me and this other person. It's what close friends sometimes do. I believe that the youth will call it banter. Call each other cunts, get fucked, you prick, all that sort of good stuff, you know. So we spoke to each other like shit, and it was funny, it was incredible, it was a fun time, it was fantastic. So it was my birthday, and we went out one night for a restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, and the guy, you know, he would do the stuff and throw the stuff into your mouth, and it was really fun. I believe in America they're called a Benihana or something like that. I don't know, maybe I've watched too much TV. And we went for a meal, and we left that place to go to another place, and everything was going great. My wife was there. There was probably maybe 15 people there or something. And we're walking along the road to go to this next place, and I was like a child. I was all hopped up and I was excited. It was fucking great. I was just having a great time. So him and her were ahead of me, and I don't know what they were talking about, obviously. And I went to my wife, and we were chatting away, and then I ran up to them, and I heard the sentence. Well, I heard partial of a sentence. I heard such and such and such, my friend. The girl was saying this, my friend. And because of how me and him spoke to each other and other people, it was just a big group, you know. I chimed in and I just went, "You've got no fucking friends, you loser." And then it was laugh, and then sort of I dropped back and went to speak to my wife again, blah, blah, blah. It was a throwaway comment that has been much worse said to much more sensitive people, you know. Turns out I didn't know this, and it's really unfortunate, but I didn't know this, but because of the crossover I mentioned between this woman and her ex, her friends had chosen him in the split, you know what I mean? And she was struggling with friendship. I didn't know that, so that must have hurt her. And I genuinely, I swear on my dog's lives, I didn't have a fucking clue. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said it. I'm not a fucking moron. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, that caused some friction. The gentleman later, a few days later or whatever, explained to me, this is what happened when they split the choke, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm so sorry." I had not. He's like, "Oh fucking don't worry about it, it's fine." Okay. Fast forward, I don't know. I can't remember the fast forward amount of time. I want to say it was about 5 or 6 months, I think. And this friend of mine, had decided to go around the world with his now wife, then girlfriend. This woman that I'd accidentally insulted, which I swear I didn't know. But they decided to go around the world doing whatever they do, various different stuff. They were going to go away for, I think if I remember right, it was about a year at least. Big fucking leave and do. And I went home. Now, some of these details might not seem important, but it's just, I'm telling you them because they're real, and this is what happened. So, finished work, travelled, I think it's probably about two and a half hours to get home on 2 buses. Pissing the rain. Now, as people on watch this channel will know, I'm not a fashion monger. Is that the term? I don't know. I'm not a fashion monger. I don't have a suit. I don't do things like that. But I went out and I bought a suit. I was going to surprise my friend by dressing super fancy. A suit, shoes, a tie, double-breasted thing, a nice shirt. I looked fucking mental. But to the normal people, I guess, to the average person, I just looked like a dude in a suit, you know. I went home, I got all my stuff, and I was that embarrassed about wearing it in my hometown that I put it all nicely folded in a bag. I got the bus uptown. I got off the bus because I needed to get another bus to where we were going. I went into a Weatherspoons of all places, which is when I realised how sticky the carpet is in a Weather fucking Spoons. I went into the Weatherspoons bathroom. I got changed into my fancy suit, and it was expensive. It was expensive for me. I wouldn't spend £200 on a suit in my fucking life. Skipped to the end. I threw the suit in the bin out of rage and sadness, but we'll get to that in a minute. I went into Weatherspoons. It was fucking pissing down, thunderstorm levels of pissing down. Went into Weatherspoons, got changed, come outside into the pissing fucking horrible rain, standing in the rain at a bus stop with no roof, so I'm getting fucking soaking wet. I've got a jacket, but I'm getting soaking wet, and my phone beeps. Fucking phone it, and it was my friend. Now, I need to prefix this with explaining that turns out there was about 200 people minimum at this leave and do. Minimum 200 people at this leave and do. This other dude's very popular. At least 200 people at this leave and do. and I gets a text message on my phone from him, and I thought, oh, and I was excited because I was wondering if he was going to wind me up about wearing shorts or I don't know. I was just like, oh fuck, great. Open my phone, and I'm fucking covering it because I can't emphasise enough how heavy the rain was. You know, my hair was all done, beard was all. I looked like a schmuck to me, but apparently my wife said I looked really smart, and people, you know. Anyway, so I've got my phone and I'm reading the fucking message. And the message said, hey brother, hey buddy, buddy, man, hey man, it's such and such. Listen, I've been speaking to the missus, the one who married at this point, I've been speaking to the missus, and I don't want to cause any trouble, but she thinks, and I agree, that it would probably be best to save any awkwardness that you don't come to tonight's leave-and do. And I thought, my immediate response in my head was, get fucked, you cunt, you know, banter. And I'm reading it again, and then it's got more in it, and it's got more in it that I can't say because that'll give away definitely who this person was or where, you know. So, hey man, I've spoke to my missus, and we both think that to save any awkwardness, it would probably be better if you don't come to the leave and do tonight. And this, bear in mind, this would be the last night that I would see this person, which now turned out to be 14 or 15 years later. Probably be best if you didn't come to the leave and do, just to avoid any hassle. Any awkwardness, not hassle, awkwardness. I'll never forget that awkwardness. And of course, straight away I'm thinking, after the fuck off, I thought, wow. And then, now I'm not ashamed of this by any stretch of the imagination whatsoever, but I'll put it this way, that it was, by this time it was probably 7 o'clock at night, and it was busy, there was tons of people, even though it was fucking torrential rain, but I've never been happier that I was standing in the pouring rain, because, you know, there's a lyric in one of my favourite songs that goes, I do my crying underwater. And whenever I heard that song years after this night, I thought, fucking hell, I done my crying underwater that night, because I was in tears. Because once I realised it was real, I don't even know if I wrote back, what the fuck. I think, if I genuinely think now that I'm thinking back on it, replaying the night, I think I just wrote back, fair enough, have a good one. And then I love you, and then a kiss at the end. And I didn't know at this point how many people were going to go to the night out, but another friend of ours went, and she said that there was at least 200 people there that night. And there was expected to be, you know, it wasn't expected to be 10. And I remember thinking to myself after the fact, I thought, fucking hell, A, I've really offended this person to the point where I'm getting uninvited to the leave and do. And B, in a room full of 200 people, I would make her feel that uncomfortable that I would be uninvited. In a room full of 200 people, she couldn't have a nice time because I was there. Now, this person's ex-girlfriend was there. The current girlfriend and the ex-girlfriend didn't get on all that well. They were totally civil, totally pleasant, but I was uninvited over the person that he used to have sex with. Do you know what I mean? And I just thought, fucking hell. And I've never spoke to him since. Not because of he went around the world. He came back. He'd done this, he'd done that. He got married. He's doing whatever he's doing. And it's just like, it's one of my biggest regrets in my life. Now there's more things as we go on with this season. I'll do one every now and again, this series of things. But this one really hurt because I didn't think that I was that bad a person. Now, I will never blame, actually that's not true, I will blame my autism on certain things where it's deserved, but I'll never blame my autism on things where I was just a cunt. But I always thought I was a fairly good person, you know? Some things in my past, like some things I've done in various, when I was an apprentice for example, I couldn't take kindly to dictation, to rudeness, to snootiness. If I thought, just because I couldn't understand certain things, and I was undiagnosed at the time, and I just couldn't. So I was not the best apprentice. I was not the best person to be around sometimes, and I'll fully admit that, and I will go into details with that in other videos, because there's some of the regrets I have to do with that. But I genuinely didn't think that I was a bad person, and for how close we were, to be uninvited while standing in a fancy £200 suit in the pouring rain with shoes on, and at that I had socks on as well, which is a fucking what the fuck. To be uninvited then, it absolutely broke my heart. And it's like this fucking sad, fucking overweight, bearded, crying man in a suit walking across the street to get on a bus to go home. And I never even phoned my wife, I never even phoned Sarah. I just came in the gate, and she's at the window. The dogs were barking, and she's at the window as if to say, what the fuck, have you forgot your wallet? What's happened? And when I went in, I just broke down crying. And she's like, what's wrong? Is everybody okay? And I'm like, I got and she's like, what the fuck do you mean you got uninvited? And I showed her the message, and she was livid, to be fair. But then she just, this sounds so dramatic, but again, it's the truth. She held me for a bit, and I fucking ripped that suit off as quick as I could. It got thrown in the, if I could set fire to it, I would have. But it got thrown in the fucking bin along with the shoes. I should have probably kept it as a funeral suit or a wedding suit or whatever, but yeah, it really fucking broke my heart. And we haven't spoke for all that I think now, let me think, I've said 15 years, but I think it's probably been 14 years. 14, yeah, because I've been in this shop here for 13 and a half years. So it must be 14 years since I've spoke to him. 14, fuck's sake, Stuart, it's not a big deal. 14 years since I spoke to him, and I really miss him sometimes. But yeah, that's one of the biggest regrets I have. And you can see what I'm going now, where I was telling you at the beginning that it might not be things I've done or things that I've, but it's just the biggest banner, the regrets that I have in my life. Yeah, it sucks. But he's doing great, they're still together, everything's fantastic, which I'm so happy for. But I just, that was a fucking ball buster, man. That really broke me, that one. And if I spend too much time thinking about it, I get really upset, because we were so close. He helped me through some really dark times. He was like a father figure in a way, almost. He wasn't that old, but he was like a father figure almost. And I've got a father, but in the world that I was leaning towards, it was just becoming, I just needed help with certain things, and he was really, I'm being super vague, but I didn't want to give too much away, because I didn't want this to cause any trouble for people. I don't give a shit if it causes me trouble, but I don't want to cause trouble for other people. But we'll leave the descriptions at that. But yeah, that's part one of regrets. What was that? I can't even remember what I was going to fucking call it now. But yeah, I regret that situation. I regret the fact that because we spoke to each other that way, I assumed that everybody was like that, you know, and evidently I should have, looking back on it, I should have maybe have been a bit more gentle in what I was saying to her, because I didn't, I don't know, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't have. Part of me now, this side of my brain's telling me, fuck that, you done nothing wrong, but then the other side's saying, dude, you know, gauge the room, but I didn't know, I didn't know. And again, I'm not looking for people to comment underneath, Stu, you're a fucking idiot, you shouldn't have done that, or this other person's an asshole. That's not what I'm looking for. So please don't comment, please do comment, but don't blame. Unless you're blaming me, that's okay, I can handle that. But this one in particular, I feel like I didn't really do much wrong. And I still, but honestly, the image of me standing in my suit, for a start, Weatherspoon's ill, but the image of me standing in a suit that I purposely bought, 200 quid suit, then I bought a shirt, then I bought socks, and I bought shoes. Yeah, I already had a nice jacket, which I had, but so yeah, that's part one of the regrets I have, and it's a fucking whopper. It's a big one to start with. Yeah, comment below if you've had any similar issues, any regrets like that pertain to this style of thing, friendships you've lost. I've got a few of them, and a few other regrets because of things I've done and people that I've hired or things like that. We'll get to that in the future. But yeah, that's part one anyway. So again, comment below if you've had any issues and any experiences with making mistakes or missing people or anything like that, and that's in the same vein. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I think I've bored you enough now. What I'll probably do is stick a tattoo in this one just so it's you know, deserves to be on the page, on the channel. But other than that, I am going to pack up my shit. I've just done a tattoo on a girl's back. I'm just going to pack up my shit. I've got a few mirrors to engrave. The lady came, collected her Joy Division mirror. That was super fun. I'm always open for commission mirrors. If you live close by to me and you have your own mirror, then if you want something on it, give me a shout. If you want me to do your small mirror, I can ship it to you. Give me a shout. If you want a bigger mirror, an ornate frame mirror, it would probably be best if you can collect it because postage is expensive. But other than that, I'm going to pack up and I'm going to head home and see how my lovely wife is. She's not feeling too great at the minute. I'll go into that in another video. But thank you very much for watching and enjoy the next tattoo. I don't know what it is because I haven't decided which one to put in yet. But enjoy the tattoo and thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe. A lot of people who watch my channel don't subscribe. Please subscribe. You can subscribe, but you don't have to watch the videos. I'd love it if you did, but please subscribe. It helps me a lot. It's free. And if you find yourself, you're on an airplane or you're in an airport or you're in the house bored, you fell out with your husband, your wife, stick my videos on, give them a watch, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, take it easy. Peace. Bye. Right, are we ready?
I'm ready, my man.
Let's rock and roll, see what we get. Here we go. So, here we go. This is Declan. I've tattooed Declan quite a few times now, actually. Various stuff, couple of things on his arms, if I remember right. Legs, top of the head, stomach, yeah, quite a few things actually. This is a wolf head, as you can probably see. Since doing this, I have done the other side, which I'll show you in another video, but this one was super fun. As you'll probably see now, he's doing not too bad whatsoever. It can be quite awkward getting your throat and your neck tattooed. It's not pleasant, but he's doing really well. Yeah, this was super fun. So one of the hard parts about getting your throat done is not just the pain, but it's your neck, really, this one. But you can see the tip of the nose comes onto the throat. It can just be the breathing. Excuse me. It can be a bit of a pain in the hole. But Declan done really well. I really enjoyed this. So as you'll see in a second now, we're just about, at this point here, we're coming up for finishing some of the shading. But to the end, and here is the finished product. As I say, this was really fun for me, not as much for him. It took about an hour and a half, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much. Take it easy.